Hello, I'm Oliver Colling, and this is the My 70s TV Childhood Quiz. Welcome to the My 70s TV Childhood Quiz. We are delighted to present to you 20 70s TV trivia-related questions to test your memories of what was on the box during that memorable decade. This quiz is an offshoot of the My 70s TV Childhood podcast, which looks back fondly on what it was like to grow up as a child in 1970s Britain and the important role that television played in our lives back then. If you haven't listened, I really recommend that you do. But on to today's quiz. As always, we have 20 questions over 4 rounds. It's just for fun, and the quizmaster's answer is the final one. If you disagree with that, or you have any other comments on our quiz, you can get in touch by emailing quiz@my70stvchildhood.com or via our blog or many social media sites, whose details are in the show notes. So settle down with a pen and paper and your favourite beverage. It's room temperature Lucozade for me this week. As I've had a bit of an upset stomach. Unfortunately, it doesn't come in orange cellophane anymore or in glass bottles, but it's still mighty effective. On a side note, I have to say I do admire the marketing behind how the drink we only had when we were proper poorly as children has now been transformed into a wonder fitness and energy brand. So much for marketing, eh? Anyway, I digress. Shall we get down to it and go into round 1? And our first round is called Most Watched, and is very simple. I'd like you to tell me which TV show was highest rated in each year of the first half of the 1970s in the UK. So question 1, what was the highest rated TV show in the UK in 1970? Question 2, and 1971? And question 3, how about 1972? Question 4, what about 1973? And finally, for question 5, you won't be surprised to hear, what was the highest rated UK TV show in 1974? So how's that? Bit of a tricky start, I think. So on to round 2, and this is our marathon or Fil Rouge round, where I ask you questions related to things we've featured in previous episodes of the podcast. Okay, let's play. Question 1. In February this year, we said goodbye to Brian Murphy, aka George Roper. What was the name of the spin-off from Men About the House, which featured George and his wife? Question 2. The New Avengers featured in July 2023. Which fashion trend was the Purdy, inspired by Joanna Lumley? Question 3. April 2021 saw us looking back at the 1977 Silver Jubilee. What gift did I and all my schoolmates, and I'm guessing many of you listening as well, get to mark the occasion? So what do we get from school to mark the occasion? And question 4. We look back at Crackerjack in July 2024. Who used to tap out a tune on Peter Glazer's stomach singing Hey Fatty Tum Tum? And question 5. In August 2022, we looked at US detective shows, including Serpico, which was based on the original movie of the same name, which starred Al Pacino. But who played the lead in the TV show? So who played Serpico in the TV show? And just like that, we're halfway through already. And next we move on to our most popular round, which is our Spin the Wheel and Name That Tune combination round. In this round, I will spin our specially constructed Wheel of Fate to choose a year from the 1970s, and then I'll feed that year into our AI-powered theme tune generator, which will select 5 theme tunes from TV shows first shown in the UK that year. Are you ready then? Okay, let's spin the wheel. And it's landed on 1973. Okay, let me input that into our AI-powered theme tune generator and see what we get. Okay, and let's go with theme tune 1. And we'll follow that, not surprisingly, with theme tune 2, which I hope you will all recognise. And theme 3. Bit tricky, perhaps, that one? Well, here's an easier one to follow that up. And finally, here's theme tune 5. Another slightly testy one there, I think. So we're on to our last round already, and this is our TV Times round where anything 70s TV trivia-wise goes. Question 1. In January 1972, Bob Monkhouse was replaced as host of The Golden Shot, having been accused of taking payments for product placement. Surely not. Who replaced Bob in the next show? Question 2. The famous play Abigail's Party was first shown as a play for today in November 1977, but who wrote the play? Question 3. The World at War was a marvellous series which documented the build-up and the progress of the Second World War, narrated by Laurence Olivier. But which ITV company made the series? And question 4. Who hosted the chat show Shut That Door, shown on ITV between 1972 and 1977? And finally, question 5. What was the name of Basil Fawlty's wife in Fawlty Towers? And that's it. Another 20 questions done and dusted. So before we go on to this time's answers, let's go back to last time's bonus question. I asked you, what strange event occurred during the broadcast of the ITN early news in the Southern TV region on Saturday the 26th of November 1977? And the answer is that the audio to the news was replaced by a voice, claiming to represent the Ashtar Galactic Command. delivering a message instructing humanity to abandon its weapons so it could participate in a future awakening and achieve a higher state of evolution. So there we are. Not what you're expecting over your tea on a Saturday night. Anyway, particularly well done if you got that right. This week's bonus question is this one. Who became the BBC's first female weather presenter in January 1974? Now that question is quite remarkable in itself that it came so late, but who was the first BBC female TV weather presenter in 1974? Anyway, if you know the answer, you can let us know by dropping an email to quiz@my70stvchildhood.com. So let's move on to this week's answers. Our first round, most watched. So, the highest rated for each year. Question 1, 1970. The highest rated show was, Miss World 1970. 1971, the highest rated show was an episode of The Benny Hill Show. Question 3, 1972. That was that year's Eurovision Song Contest. And similarly, in 1973, the Eurovision Song Contest got top billing again. And finally, for question 5, in 1974, the highest-rated UK TV show is an episode of This Is Your Life, which featured Lord Mountbatten. Now, I'm slightly depressed by reading those, but never mind. On to our second round, the Marathon or Fil Rouge. What was the name of the spin-off from Man About the House, which featured George Roper and his wife? That was George and Mildred. The fashion trend, the Purdy, that came from Joanna Lumley of the New Avengers, what was it? Well, it was a hairstyle as displayed by Joanna Lumley's character of the same name. And hairdressers up and down the country were asked by young women, could I have a Purdy, please? There you go. Who says television doesn't have any power? Question 3. What gift did I and my schoolmates get to mark the occasion of the Silver Jubilee in 1977? Well, we got a Jubilee Crown coin. And question 4. Who used to tap out a tune on Peter Glaze's stomach singing Hey Fatty Tum Tum? And that was his partner in crime, Don McLean, who I just state for the nth time was not the writer and singer of American Pie. And question 5. Who played the lead Serpico in the TV show of the same name? And that was David Burney. All right, on to our Name That Tune round. The first show hopefully rang bells with many of you. That was Kung Fu. The second one, I'd be disappointed if you hadn't got this one. It's SomeMothersDo'AveEm. And the third one is one which is mentioned by a number of you in correspondence with me, so it may be well be the feature of a future podcast. And that was the theme tune to Robert's Robots. Theme tune 4, again, hopefully one that rang a bell for most of you. That's the theme tune to Whatever Happened to the Likely Lads. And theme tune 5, that was the theme to a show called The Kids from 47A, which I do remember quite vividly, and that was about a group of children who lose their mother and are brought up by their older sister. All right, on to our TV Times round. In January 1972, Bob Monkhouse was replaced as host of The Golden Shot, having been accused of taking payments for product placement. Who replaced him? And that was Norman Vaughan. Question 2. Who wrote the play Abigail's Party? And that was Mike Leigh. Question 3. Which ITV company made the series The World at War? And that was Thames Television. Question 4. Who hosted the chat show Shut That Door between 1972 and 1977? Well, almost inevitably that had to be Larry Grayson. And question 5. What was the name of Basil Fawlty's wife in Fawlty Towers? That was Sybil. So, how did you get on? I suspect the first round proved challenging for many of you, but hopefully some of the theme tunes and later questions were a little easier than usual. But after all of that, are you bouncing off the ceiling with joy, or are you flat on your face on the floor with misery? Whichever, I hope you've enjoyed listening. And if you have, please tell your friends. We'll be back next week with our regular podcast and then again with another quiz in a fortnight. Until then, take care, look after those you love, and join us again soon for more from My 70s TV Childhood and the My 70s TV Childhood Quiz.